Hey, my name is Jared Moon, and I'm part of a group of underground athletes you've probably never even heard of before. We don't rely on fancy equipment for training, and most of us don't even have gym memberships. In fact, our motivation comes from within. You see, we have jobs, families, and responsibilities, but we still have big goals, and they aren't getting achieved at a global gym. For that reason, we have to do things differently. Our training has to be smarter. We don't have every piece of equipment known to man or a ton of time to train, and we don't need it, because we are achieving amazing things without it. So how do we do it? If you ask your average personal trainer or gym goer, they'd call us crazy. Yet we're seeing results better than most every single day. And it's happening by blending mental training with physical training and becoming an athlete. What we call, and welcome to, Garage Gym Athlete.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. Jared Moon here. With me is Joe Courtney. What's up, Joe?
Hey, happy to be here.
And we have Matt Haynes. How's it going, Matt?
Pretty good. How about you guys?
Doing great, man. So let's get right into it. If you could give us some introductions, who you are, what you do for a living, and how you train.
My name is Matt Haynes. I actually have a pretty cool job. I work in the biomedical research field.
Oh,
very cool.
So it keeps me busy most days. I built a house about a year ago now, and it was kind of cool because when I built it, I made sure that I built a room in my basement to build a gym in.
Nice.
And that's what led me to Garage Gym Athlete, and I've been pumping away at it ever since.
That's the ultimate dream and the biggest DIY for a garage gym ever.
That's awesome, man. I'm a little bit jealous. I would love to design my own house to where I have a specific. I'm like, no, this is let's build the house around my exercise room. You know, that's pretty cool. And so, what is your setup? You said it was in the basement, right?
It's in the basement. Do you want me to show you or?
Yeah, the video seems to be working pretty good. So those who are on YouTube right now can see it. But
okay.
Still call things out where people who are only listening
All right.
can.
So, of course, I hung a heavy bag.
Nice.
I do have my squat rack that I do just about everything in. View to the outside to make me happy, and then my treadmill. Light. Oh yes. And of course, my whiteboard that I can keep everything squared away on. Soon, I talked my wife into letting me buy a rower, so that's going to be happening soon. But it's other.
Oop.
Oh,
we lost you for a second.
I'm here.
Yeah, what were you saying? You're soon to buy a rower?
I'm soon to buy a rower. Until then, it's usually just outside, or if it's really cold, I jump on the treadmill.
And where'd you get that treadmill?
I don't remember. I got it at an outlet store somewhere.
Okay.
I got a great deal on it, so it sat in the garage, covered up for a while until the house got built.
Yeah, I'm just curious. My wife kind of wants one, and I've been like, I was like looking at the True Form runners, and I was like, those are like $5,000 or $6,000. I was like, there's got to be a cheaper option for a treadmill, because I'm fine with just running trails and stuff around here. But my wife wanted something that she could be a little more consistent on. Where are you at? Where are you located?
Southwest Michigan.
So maybe a little cold.
Yeah, it's about 25 this morning.
Yeah, so yeah, a little bit cold. How bad does it get in the winters there?
Last Monday was the first day in a month that we broke 32 degrees, like above 32 degrees.
And what are the summers like? Mild or pretty hot?
Well, they're fairly mild, 70, 80s. They're not too horrible.
Okay, so you got great summers, and then just you have to kind of deal with the winter.
Yeah.
And so, why did you decide to go the garage gym route?
Well, I started lifting when I was in high school and had gym memberships from then, and then started looking into it more and realized how much money I was spending to, as I got older, not go to the gym.
Yeah.
So I planned it out and I looked at everything. I'm like, well, we're already building this house. If I, put forth so much money into it, now I can have it in my basement. And basically, if I get, I'll be at work till 9, 10 o'clock at night sometimes, and I can still come home and I'm not like, oh, now I have to go to the gym. I can just walk down to my basement.
Yeah, and so yeah, what's your work schedule as you said you're a biomedical researcher?
Research. Yeah. So layman's terms, I work with animals. I do everything preclinical. So all your animal testing. I usually work 7:30 to 4, but being in the business, it could be, 7:30 to 10, 11, 6. It varies depending on the day.
Okay.
So having it in my basement or in somewhere I can just jump into it and not miss out on the little bit of family time I have, it's amazing.
And what's your family? You have are you married with kids or married?
Yeah. I married with 1 5-year-old daughter.
Okay, awesome. Very cool. What does she think about the garage gym?
She loves it. She has her own set of PVC pipe and styrofoam weights down here, and she'll come down. I mean, it's like one of her favorite things to do. It's amazing.
That's really cool, man. And what are some of your goals right now training in the basement gym there?
Right now, I'm in the harder to kill track because, I mean, for a while, I did competitive powerlifting. I wanted to, lift as much as possible, and then I also dabbled into the bodybuilding route. I just wanted to look amazing. But the older I get, and I want to look good, of course, but I'd rather be functional and definitely moving forward on that. But my big thing on the horizon is this coming October. I'm doing another. I'm doing the Bourbon Chase with a Ragnar Run.
Okay.
So it's a 12 of us that run 200-ish miles in
wow
24 to 36 hours.
That's crazy.
Like
man.
as a pack or like a marathon? Or
it's like a relay.
Relay. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a little more doable. But like each of you cover a marathon itself.
Yeah, I think I did one in September, and I think I had like 17 or 18 miles somewhere total.
Oof.
Over 3 legs, 20. In the middle of the night, middle of the morning, kind of thing.
That's like a 24-hour race almost.
Yeah, I think our team. I mean, it was fun. We weren't competitive, but I mean, I think we did it in 34, 35 hours.
That's crazy. And so tell me a little bit more about these races, because I've seen a little bit of stuff pop up on social media about them, but to be honest, I haven't looked into them too much. So is it like a set distance for time and you get to pick a team? Like how does it work?
So my team basically comprised of all the people I work with. Somebody had the crazy idea, brought it up, and I'm like, hey, let's do this. So we looked into it. You have essentially 12 runners, 2 vans, and you basically relay each other, piggyback each other throughout the whole thing. And it's 200 miles, thereabouts. I mean, I think we ran 198. And then they break it up into legs. And then as a team, you pick who runs, leg 1, 7 and 13 or whatever. And then you kind of break it up into the vans. You just kind of piggyback each other nonstop until everybody crosses the finish line together.
They hook you up with the vans, or you have to get those yourself?
That's basically everything's on your own.
Okay. They take your registration fee and then you run 200 miles.
Yeah. You get a real cool medal at the end. And
yeah.
I mean, it was more about, the stories and the camaraderie we had, just like being in the van and everything together. It's something to be in a vehicle for 36 hours with, 6 other sweaty running people.
Yeah, if you got a good crew, though, it sounds like it'd be a lot of fun.
Oh, it's a blast.
And what were you doing before? Because you're a little more functional now, and you mentioned doing some powerlifting and bodybuilding style stuff, but kind of where did you pick up, fitness? Where did you start training, and what has your training history kind of look like?
So, I played football, ran track, wrestled, played basketball throughout high school. After high school, I joined the Marines. I got medically discharged from there. kind of came home, kind of lost my way a little bit, because that was my one goal in life, was there it is. And then as it was gone, I didn't know what to do. So I sat around way too long. I got back into coaching wrestling, and that kind of brought me back into taking care of myself, because now I'm coaching, middle school kids that are going to look up to me. I was like powerlifting. I did that in high school also. And that's kind of where I excelled. I'm not the tallest, not the fastest, but I could move a decent amount of weight. After that, I just kind of stuck with it. I moved, 6 hours away from my home, and actually found like a powerlifting gym and got in there and excelled at it. But it, there was very little cardio in it. I ballooned up to like 220.
Right. Yeah.
I could move ungodly amounts of weight, but I just didn't feel good at all. And that kind of brought me into, dabbling. Well, maybe if I add some cardio and for a while, I just tried to do my own thing and kind of lost my way, jumping from plan to plan.
And that's what I find. Two things there is, like powerlifting. So generally a powerlifting coach's answer to lifting more weight is gaining more weight. It's an unfortunate truth that mass moves mass, but that's the answer a lot of times. And then two, once you start trying to program your own conditioning, I find that if you do enough research, and you're with your background and stuff, you're a pretty smart guy. Like it's you can do it for a while, but then like once you kind of run out of like a couple tools in your tool bag, you're like, okay, that was a good 6 weeks, but like, what am I going to do in the next? I don't want to do all this again. Like what's coming next? So yeah, I've definitely seen that happen to a lot of athletes over the years. But that's cool transition, man, to where you're at today. And how do you like training this newer way for you, I guess, in the grand scheme of your life?
Up there.
Oh, sorry. Where did you lose me at?
Training in the new way.
Yeah. How do you like training this new way, as far as going from lifting heavy weight to, to adding in the conditioning and now doing the hard to kill track, which is probably the most aggressive blend of the two that you could be doing right now? I
find it a lot more challenging, but also more rewarding and motivating. I pull it up, I got the app, and I'm like, okay, I know what I'm doing now. And before, even when I was doing my own programming, I did find myself like, oh, I said I'd do this for like 10 minutes, but I'm kind of tired at 7. I'll stop right here. I'm good. But now I hold myself a lot more accountable, because I know I have to put it in there, and I'm not going to sit there and lie to myself. But it's a whole lot easier to erase 10 minute and put it down at 7 than it is to like, oh, now I have to write a comment that I only did it for 7 because I just gave up.
Yeah, and that's one of the rules I have or coach athletes on. If they are doing any sort of their own programming or add something, like once you write it on the whiteboard, that has to be law, because it is so easy, like to be like, a while back I was doing it was like, I just felt like doing this wasn't in the programming. I was doing a kettlebell breathing ladder, which is, 1 rep, 1 breath, 2 reps, 2 breaths. And I was like, I'm going to go all the way up to 20 and then back down to 1. And I wrote that down, and then I got to the 20 and I was like, that might just be good. Maybe I'll just stop at the 20. I won't go back down. And I was like, nah, dude, you already wrote it down. You got to go back down. So I did it anyway. But yeah, that always creeps into my mind as well, as like, yeah, why don't I just, maybe make it a little bit easier? But once it's law, once it's in the program, there's no going back.
Definitely.
And what do you find to being the biggest struggle as a garage gym athlete?
I don't even know if it's just being a garage gym athlete. Just trying to get better is that whole exercise, health, family balance.
Yeah.
Those late nights, if I skip a workout, I actually, I'm down. I don't feel the best, not even physically, just mentally. I'm like, I can't believe I missed that. Maybe I should just go do it. And it's just, that's the hardest struggle for me is, balance my family life with, making sure that I'm healthy and I could take care of my family also.
Yeah, that is a real struggle, man. And Have you found anything that helps you kind of overcome that?
Bringing them with me. I mean, it's a small space, but I mean, we could fit, 2, 3 of us down here.
Nice.
And like I said, my daughter loves coming down. So if I can get them, my daughter and my wife down here, it's a little crowded, but at least we're spending time together, and I can, kind of pass that on at least to my daughter, be like, hey, this kind of lifestyle is something that you should, take hold of and run with.
That's awesome, man. And I'm going to move to some of the other questions here because I'm very curious to know, what's the hardest workout you've ever done?
The hardest workout that I've ever done I've done some horribly physically strenuous workouts, like I said, I went into the Marines. The boot camp was just a long, continuous, strenuous workout. But I think the hardest thing I've ever done, like mentally, and I think that's where that it kind of separates everything, was during my second leg, my last Ragnar race.
Yeah.
I was having horrible knee pain. I started out, the van passed me, blew the horn, waved at me. I waved them on, and I could barely walk at that point because my knees were just destroyed. And like, I had my phone in my hand, like their number pulled up, like ready to like call them, tell them to turn around and just pick me up. I was done. I'm finished. I met myself that night, at 12 o'clock at night on the road. And for some reason, I'm like, no, just, I'll make it to that stop sign and I'll make it to the next, sign. And as I went through, eventually, about 2 miles into just picking out signs along the road to get to, I started to warm up. My knees felt better, and I was running my fastest times that I did the whole race. But it was that first 2 miles was the hardest thing I've ever done, not to call them and just give up, throw in the towel.
Yeah, man, to be honest, that messes with me mentally more than anything else because, a lot of times mental toughness in workouts are just learning to control yourself through the panic of heavy breathing or your heart racing and all that stuff. But that's one thing. But what you're talking about is like your brain is actually like, you know what, I might be pretty injured after this. I could be significantly hurt by the end of this. And those, for me personally, are the toughest ones to deal with because I'm like, do I keep pushing myself, and not quit? Or do I just call it here and live to fight another day? And it depends on the event, obviously. You're doing something like this is like a, not necessarily once in a lifetime, but once a year maybe type deal. Mm-hmm. So you don't want to quit or not push yourself. But yeah, man, those are the toughest ones for me personally.
Definitely.
All right, man, what's the in your opinion, what's the best activity for building mental toughness?
Completely and totally stepping out of your comfort zone. Putting yourself out there, like I said, like things I do, I put myself out there, the things that I'm kind of unsure if I want to be even able to finish, but I want to finish it. So I step outside there and, I basically put myself out that there's no other option. I'm going to finish this regardless if I'm dragging myself across that finish line. And that's the way I found, at least best for me, that I can move on to it. And then it's like that benchmark where I'm like, I did that, well, I can do something else. If I did this, I can do something else. And I kind of move on through it like that.
That's awesome, man. And if you could only have one piece of equipment to train with for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I have to go with that barbell.
Yeah.
I love it.
The barbell is a great piece of equipment. Joe, where are you sitting on this question? You been kind of quiet this episode. Where I'm going to have to throw you in there. Where have you changed? Because I think season 1 you were with rings, right? I think because they were.
I think I'm still that way because my power rack is still yet to be assembled, so I still have a set of rings up in my tree. So I have to do everything. I don't know. Yeah, I have to do a lot of things with the rings just thrown up in a tree because that's the versatility of it. I can just throw them up in a tree and do lots of stuff.
Well, that's also the garage gym athlete mentality, right? You don't have a pull-up bar proper, who I think is what you called it, which I thought was awesome. And so you're getting it done with some rings, which is awesome, dude. All right. Wish list question.
Yeah. So if you could if you had a wish list for the top of your equipment to add to your garage gym, what would it be? I think you kind of already answered it earlier, but what would be the one item that you would add to your gym? The
one thing I'd add to my gym that isn't in the works is an Airdyne.
Okay.
It sits right up there with the rower for me. I mean, the rower's in the works. The Airdyne, I mean, I know I could probably pick one up pretty cheap on Craigslist and stuff, but I just haven't pulled the trigger on that one. But that's what I used throughout like my wrestling career to kill myself, and
Right.
the things are brutal.
It's either an old person's rehab device or an athlete's torture device,
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not sure how low to go for Airdyne, because I've even looked around and there's like they range from like either 200 to like 700 or 800.
Mm-hmm.
You get
So
a,
it's just
you get a brand new one for that price. Are you talking used?
yeah, on Craigslist. So
Man.
but like, yeah, I mean, obviously for that high, but like even the lower ones, I don't know the difference between the meters and all that stuff for what people look for.
I mean, I think I got mine for like, I don't remember, it's $50 or $100 or something like that. You just gotta find the right person who's giving it away, and all you really want is to have a rower that can measure calories. Make sure, because Airdyne or rower.
Oh, I meant a Dyne, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I mean, Airdyne or rower that doesn't have some sort of working display is basically useless. I mean, you could just sit there and like still get a good workout, but you know nothing about what you just did. You're like,
just time.
I think that was a good pace, but I'm not really sure. Yeah, that would be rough. All right, man. What's the best advice you have for garage gym athletes out there listening to this?
Best advice is just to do it. I mean, we can sit here and talk about how great this is, but unless you're going to just, walk out into the garage, step down to the basement, step outside, I mean, it's all talk. Just get out there and do it. There's no better time than, right now.
Awesome, man. Well, Matt, it's been a blast having you on the podcast. I really appreciate your time, and thanks for being on, man.
Oh, thank you.